If hard work created wealth, the most exhausted people in society would dominate every rich list. If intelligence guaranteed financial security, brilliant professionals would never feel fragile. But that's not what we see. We see disciplined, intelligent individuals stuck at the same financial ceiling for years. And we see emotionally average people quietly building durable wealth. So what is being optimized differently? Most people believe money rewards effort, work more, improve skills, increase output. That formula feels fair. It feels moral. It feels predictable. But if it were structurally correct, upward mobility would be consistent. Leonardo da Vinci did not compete for wages. He did not try to outwork other painters for hourly compensation. He positioned himself inside patronage systems where his talent became strategically indispensable. He secured leverage before output. Money does not primarily reward intelligence. It rewards something else, and most people never identify what that something else is. In our previous video, we exposed predictability. Today, we expose the psychological structure behind it, the patterns that separate those who accumulate lasting wealth from those who remain perpetually trapped in cycles of earning and spending, no matter how much they make. Consider David, a brilliant software engineer earning $200,000 annually. He lives in a comfortable suburban home, drives a luxury sedan, and maintains a lifestyle that matches his income. Yet despite his impressive salary, David remains financially fragile. His mortgage consumes 40% of his income. His car payment, insurance, and maintenance eat another 15%. When his company announces layoffs, panic sets in immediately. Within 3 months of unemployment, David faces serious financial pressure. His intelligence and skills mean nothing without a steady paycheck. He has become a high-income prisoner, completely dependent on continued employment for survival. How did someone so smart create such vulnerability? This scenario illustrates what I call the behavioral wealth divide. On one side are reactive earners, people who respond to money emotionally and adjust their lifestyle to match their income. On the other side are structural positioners, individuals who treat money as a tool for creating independence rather than comfort. Reactive earners think in terms of what they can afford based on current income. Structural positioners think in terms of what positions them for future control. This difference in thinking creates vastly different outcomes over time. If you value structural thinking over noise, subscribe. This channel builds architecture, not motivation. Now consider Sarah, a day trader with an MBA from Wharton. She possesses encyclopedic knowledge of financial markets and spends 12 hours daily analyzing charts and economic indicators. Her intelligence is undeniable. Her dedication is admirable. Yet after 5 years of intense effort, her returns barely exceed what she could have earned in index funds. Why does her superior knowledge fail to produce superior results? Because intelligence without emotional discipline becomes a liability in financial markets. Sarah overtrades because she believes her analysis gives her an edge. She holds losing positions too long because admitting error threatens her self-image as an expert. She takes excessive risks because small wins feel insufficient given her expertise. Her ego transforms knowledge into overconfidence, and overconfidence destroys capital systematically. Compare this with Jim, an average plumber with no formal financial education. Jim invests a fixed amount monthly in broad market funds, regardless of news or market conditions. He never checks his balance during downturns. He never adjusts his strategy based on predictions. His approach appears simplistic compared to Sarah's sophisticated analysis, yet his returns consistently exceed hers. The difference lies not in intelligence, but in psychological structure. Jim has removed emotion from his investment process, while Sarah has amplified it through complexity. If this hits closer than you expected, compress the feeling into a single word, and drop it below. One word is enough to expose the pattern you've been avoiding. Here is an uncomfortable reality. Financial knowledge can increase fragility. The more information people possess about markets, economics, and investment strategies, the more confident they become in their ability to time, predict, and optimize. This confidence encourages active decision-making, frequent adjustments, and emotional attachment to outcomes. Each decision point becomes an opportunity for psychological bias to corrupt judgment. The paradox is that learning more about money often makes people worse with money, not better. Leonardo da Vinci understood something most modern professionals miss entirely. Talent without leverage becomes labor. Da Vinci possessed extraordinary artistic and intellectual gifts, yet he spent his career dependent on wealthy patrons for support. His genius created beautiful works, but limited personal wealth because he operated within structures that others controlled. Modern knowledge workers face identical constraints. They develop expertise, earn impressive salaries, but remain structurally dependent on systems they do not own or influence. Their skills become valuable to others while leaving them personally vulnerable to external decisions. During the Renaissance, true wealth came not from talent alone, but from controlling trade routes, owning land, or commanding political influence. Position determined prosperity more than ability. This dynamic has never changed. Today's equivalent involves understanding how human psychology creates predictable behavior patterns, then positioning yourself to benefit from those patterns rather than becoming victim to them. The wealthy operate from a fundamentally different psychological framework. They recognize that human beings are driven by predictable emotions, fear of loss, desire for status, need for immediate gratification. Instead of being controlled by these emotions, they design systems that profit from them. While others react to market volatility, they remain positioned to acquire assets at reduced prices. While others spend impulsively to relieve psychological tension, they delay gratification to compound returns. While others seek approval through lifestyle inflation, they prioritize control over appearance. Most people experience what psychologists call loss aversion, the tendency to feel losses more intensely than equivalent gains. This bias causes them to hold losing investments too long and sell winning positions too early. It makes them risk-averse precisely when opportunity presents itself and risk-seeking when preservation is appropriate. The wealthy understand this bias exists in themselves and others, then structure their decisions to minimize its impact. They create rules for buying and selling that remove emotional interpretation. They automate investments to prevent second-guessing during volatile periods. Another critical psychological factor is ego attachment to capital. When people begin earning significant money, they often fuse their identity with their wealth. Net worth becomes self-worth. Investment performance reflects personal intelligence. This fusion makes objective decision-making nearly impossible because financial losses threaten psychological identity. The wealthy maintain separation between self-image and financial outcomes. They view money as a tool for creating options, not as validation of their intelligence or character. Consider how differently people respond to the same financial situation based on their psychological framework. When markets decline by 20%, reactive earners experience panic and often liquidate positions to stop the psychological pain. Structural positioners view the same decline as a purchasing opportunity and increase their investment allocation. Both groups face identical circumstances, yet their psychological positioning creates opposite behaviors and therefore opposite outcomes. Most people scale their lifestyle with their income, a behavior that feels natural and rewarding in the short term. As salary increases, housing improves, cars upgrade, dining expenses rise, vacation budgets expand. This lifestyle inflation provides immediate psychological satisfaction, but creates what I call the golden handcuffs effect. Higher expenses require higher income to maintain, reducing flexibility and increasing dependence on continued employment. The person becomes trapped by their own success, unable to take risks or pursue opportunities that might temporarily reduce income. Which behavior dominates your decisions, reaction, or structure? Structural positioners take the opposite approach. They maintain modest lifestyles regardless of income increases, directing additional earnings toward investments that generate passive income. This creates expanding optionality over time. As passive income grows, dependence on active work decreases. Eventually, investment income exceeds lifestyle expenses, creating true financial independence. The key difference is psychological, choosing delayed gratification and control over immediate comfort and status. The ability to tolerate being wrong is perhaps the most undervalued financial skill. Markets are unpredictable in the short term, making frequent errors inevitable for anyone attempting to optimize timing. People who cannot tolerate being wrong make emotional decisions to avoid admitting mistakes, often amplifying losses in the process. Those comfortable with uncertainty and error make systematic decisions based on probability rather than certainty, leading to better long-term outcomes despite frequent short-term mistakes. The frequency of financial adjustments reveals psychological positioning clearly. Reactive earners constantly modify their approach based on new information, market movements, or emotional state. This constant adjustment prevents any strategy from working effectively because successful investing requires time for compound growth to occur. Structural positioners create systematic approaches and maintain them through various market conditions, allowing compound returns to accumulate without interference. Understanding your reaction to volatility provides insight into your psychological positioning. When investment values decline, do you experience panic and consider selling? Do you check balances more frequently during downturns? Do you research new strategies to avoid future losses? These reactions indicate emotional involvement that corrupts decision-making. Alternatively, do declining values feel like opportunities to acquire more shares at reduced prices? Does volatility feel expected and manageable? This mindset indicates structural positioning that supports wealth accumulation. The relationship between effort and outcomes in financial matters differs dramatically from other areas of life. In most domains, increased effort produces improved results. With money, excessive effort often produces worse outcomes because it increases emotional involvement and decision frequency. The wealthy appear lazy compared to those constantly researching, trading, and optimizing because they understand that most financial success comes from patient positioning rather than active manipulation. Money amplifies existing behavioral patterns rather than changing them. People who are impulsive with small amounts become reckless with large amounts. Those who are fearful about minor losses become paralyzed when facing significant decisions. Individuals who seek validation through spending escalate their consumption as resources increase. This amplification explains why many lottery winners and inheritance recipients lose their wealth quickly. The money arrives without corresponding psychological development, leading to behaviors that systematically erode the capital. Understanding this amplification effect helps explain why effort without leverage increases fragility rather than security. Working harder to earn more money without changing spending psychology simply creates higher income needs and greater lifestyle dependence. The person becomes more fragile, not more secure, because their fixed expenses rise with their earnings. True security comes from maintaining low fixed expenses while building passive income streams that reduce dependence on active work. Position determines flow more than effort determines accumulation. Those positioned as employees trade time for money in linear relationships that cap earning potential. Those positioned as owners or investors earn from systems and assets that can scale beyond personal time investment. The difference lies not in work ethic, but in psychological willingness to delay consumption and accept risk in exchange for potential control and optionality. Da Vinci's notebooks reveal someone who understood leverage intuitively. His designs for flying machines, military equipment, and architectural projects aim to amplify human capability through mechanical advantage. Yet he operated within patronage systems that limited his ability to capture the economic value of his innovations. Modern professionals often fall into similar patterns, developing valuable skills that primarily benefit their employers rather than creating personal wealth. The most successful individuals throughout history have understood that wealth flows through systems and structures rather than individual effort alone. They position themselves within or create systems that generate returns independent of their direct involvement. This requires different psychological conditioning than most people develop through traditional employment, where showing up and working hard generally produces predictable compensation. Behavioral economics research reveals that people consistently make financial decisions based on emotion rather than logic, even when they understand the logical choice intellectually. Fear and greed override rational analysis during crucial decision points. The wealthy develop systematic approaches that minimize the impact of emotional decision-making by creating rules and processes that remove discretionary judgment during volatile periods. The concept of enough plays a crucial role in financial psychology. Those who never feel they have enough continue seeking more regardless of absolute wealth levels, leading to risk-taking that can destroy accumulated capital. Those who define enough clearly can make preservation-focused decisions once their target is reached, protecting wealth from emotional decision-making that might erode it. Most people underestimate the psychological difficulty of wealth preservation compared to wealth accumulation. Building wealth requires optimism, risk-taking, and growth-focused thinking. Preserving wealth requires pessimism, risk management, and protection-focused thinking. These mindsets conflict psychologically, explaining why many successful entrepreneurs struggle to transition from accumulation to preservation modes. The ability to remain unmoved during uncertainty represents perhaps the most valuable financial trait. Market crashes, economic recessions, and personal emergencies test psychological positioning ruthlessly. Those who maintain systematic approaches during chaos often acquire assets at favorable prices from those who panic. This requires cultivating emotional detachment from short-term fluctuations while maintaining long-term conviction about systematic approaches. Wealth is not earned through traditional effort-reward relationships. It is permitted by psychological structure that supports delayed gratification, systematic thinking, and emotional discipline over extended time periods. Those who develop this structure appear to attract wealth effortlessly because their behavior naturally aligns with accumulation rather than consumption. Position determines flow, effort without leverage increases fragility, and money amplifies behavior. Wealth is not earned, it is permitted by structure. This channel is not built on hype or shortcuts. It exists to study principles, positioning, and clarity. Understanding always comes first, but when insight moves from theory into real life, structure becomes necessary. Without it, even disciplined decisions erode over time. Income expands, obligations grow, and what once felt controlled becomes reactive. I use a simple system personally to keep finances deliberate, clear, and under control. No subscriptions, no noise, no dependence on platforms that change the rules. A single intentional setup designed for ownership, not convenience. It's available for those who value clarity and autonomy. The link is below. Clarity always comes first. The psychology of making money and why most fail. And there you have it. The psychology of making money and why most fail. We explored why effort alone remains capped, how structure reshapes outcomes, and why leverage has always been the silent driver behind durable wealth. If this video sharpened your thinking, continue with the next video. It will take you further. Support the channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Stay sharp, stay intentional, keep crafting your wealth the way Da Vinci crafted his work, one deliberate stroke at a time. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next video.